and nutrition. We're going to look at crop farming and nutrition. And under this session, we're going to look at crop selection and agronomy. We're going to look at soil management and fertility. We're going to look at suitable crop production practices and crop protection and pest management. Crop farming and nutrition are first crop selection and agronomy. The process of selecting a crop for your agribusiness is an entrepreneurial decision and requires situational considerations. Proper crop selection is a factor in successful crop farming. It is a requisite that must be undertaken before actually starting a farming venture. Even without a predetermined location and site of the farm, the crop to be grown can be decided based mainly on its marketability and profitability. Yeah, crop selection is just the process of first picking what you need to grow. And then it's you can do this process before even starting your whole what agronomy practices. Even before knowing, getting the piece of land and all that, you can already pick what you want to grow depending on demand or depending on its demand in the market. And then agronomy. Agronomy is the science and art of field crop production by the proper utilization of natural resources. The word agronomy has been derived from two Greek words, agros meaning field and nomos meaning management. It is the branch of agriculture. Agronomy deals with the interaction between crops and environment. It's just the interaction between crops and environment. Field management. Crop selection factors, the factors you need to consider when selecting your crop. One, you need to consider the specific location of the farm or property being considered. You should consider the specific location, where you're going to plant these things. Is it in a hilly place? Is it in a valley? Is it in a swampy place? Which plant fits best in that environment? And then land availability, and you should ensure you have land available where you can plant this. A soil type, you should know the type of soil where you're going to plant these things. And then climate, we saw earlier on the roles of this in crop production. So different crops refer different climatic conditions. We know that. We already even saw earlier on how the crops have been divided into based on their climatic requirements. And then we have the initial financial investment and expected return. Yes, you need to know a budget because it's a business. You need to know how much you're going to invest and how much you'll get out of your investment. And then market demand. Yeah, you need to consider the market demand as well. You're not going to produce a lot of something that people in that area actually don't consume. And then water quality and availability. You need to consider the presence of clean water, good water, because water with a lot of arsenic or other chemicals that are not your final produce. And you need to look at the personal interest as well. Consider your interests before getting into that. And then uniqueness, like qualities of your commodity. You also need to consider the uniqueness of your commodity because you can choose something that is already there, but what makes yours more unique than what others are producing. Prevailing farm conditions are still a continuation. An environmental scanning should first be conducted on the biotic factors and topographic features. Biotic factors refer to living organisms, including ruminant animals, insects, and other pests, diseases, pathogens, and weeds, as well as organisms having beneficial effects. Topographic features of the land like elevation, slope, and terrain, as well as the physical and chemical properties of the soil, such as texture, color, organic matter content, pH, and fertility levels, will determine the crops that are naturally suited. Also, the various climatic factors and a stable supply of water within the farm will allow wide possibilities in crop selection. Next is crop or varietal adaptability. Yeah, you need to consider the adaptability of these crops, how they are able to withstand any condition. Yeah. A useful guide is to identify crops in the farm and in the neighborhood. Crops growing in the farm and in the neighborhood. And then marketability and profitability. Those who want to engage in cash crops or cash farming or cash crop farming, or ensure financial sustainability. Crop selection must consider marketability and profitability. Yeah. And then resistance to pests and diseases, regardless of the purpose of farming. It is important to be able to select a crop and variety with wide resistance to important pests and diseases. Available technology. The technology for the growing of the crop must have been well established or easy to learn and apply. Likewise, certain crops are preferred because technical assistance is available. Farming system. Crop selection is affected by the system of farming employed, that is, whether purely crop farming or integrated with livestock animals. Likewise, the particular crop species to be grown will depend on the crop production practices. Security. So, security, in the absence of security personnel, or where there is no fence that will exclude intruders, crop selection may be done in favor of those which are not susceptible to differing. This will avoid such crops as vegetables and, and fruit crops, which can be easily harvested for food and for cash. And next is soil management and fertility. Soil fertility refers to a soil rich in nutrients. However, in the broader definition, it is determined by the physical and physiochemical properties of soil. The physical properties include such as soil texture, water holding capacity, the depth of soil profiles, and drainage. And the physiochemical properties refers to properties such as the cation exchange capacity, anion exchange capacity, pH, and the level of available plant nutrients. Fertile soils also allow minimizing human health risks associated with crop production. For example, it will require less fertilizer and pesticide application. A fertile soil, a fertile soil contains rich organic matter, enhancing nutrient availability and soil science. It exhibits a high cation exchange capacity, facilitating nutrient retention and exchange, maintains an optimal pH level, that is 67, promoting nutrient availability, and then drains effectively, preventing waterlogging and fostering root development, maintains a low salinity level, minimizing adverse effects on plants and nutrients, provides balanced and adequate nutrient levels, supporting optimal plant nutrition, possesses a well structured profile, reducing erosion risks and enabling root penetration. The role of organic matter in soil fertility. Organic matter plays a vital role in soil fertility. It refers to the remains of plants, animals, and microorganisms that are in various stages of decomposition. That's organic matter. Organic matter helps to improve soil structure, water holding capacity, and nutrient retention. It also serves as a food source for soil organisms such as earthworms and beneficial bacteria that help break down organic matter into plant available nutrients. In addition, organic matter plays a vital role in carbon sequestration or removal, helping to mitigate the effects of climate change. Soil management practices that promote the accumulation and maintenance of organic matter, such as the use of cover crops, composting, and reduced tillage, can contribute significantly to soil fertility and overall ecosystem health. The role of microorganisms in soil fertility. Microorganisms and biodiversity also contribute significantly to soil fertility. They facilitate the breakdown of organic matter into plant available nutrients through a process called mineralization. Nitrogen fixing bacteria associated with legume crops convert atmospheric nitrogen into nitrate, and nitrate. and nitrogen, making it available for the crop. Microorganisms assist in the availability of phosphorus, potassium, iron, boron, and other essential nutrients by solubilizing mineral or organic forms. Iron is an essential micronutrient. Microorganisms that release pseudophores, organic acids, and other exudes help in solubilizing mineral iron and making it available for the crop. Boron availability is also dependent on soil microorganisms. Among other factors, microorganisms break down soil organic matter and allow the release of boron from organic processes. How to manage and maintain soil fertility? To manage and maintain soil fertility, several practices can be employed. One, you need to conduct regular soil analysis to balance nutrient levels. Are using fertilizers, whether organic or inorganic. And you need to maintain and build soil organic matter, which is applied compost and plant cover crops. You need to manage soil salinity, is avoid accumulation of salt. If soil pH is too low, use lime to increase soil pH, but remember that increasing soil pH may take years. And then apply proper irrigation practices to avoid leaching of essential nutrients and runoff. And consider tillage to break up large soil aggregates and compacted soil. Tillage also stimulates the decomposition of organic matter. And next is sustainable crop production practices. Sustainable agriculture is farming in sustainable ways, meeting society's present food and textile needs without compromising the ability for current or future generations to meet their needs. It can be based on an understanding of ecosystem services. Through decades of science and practices, the following farming practices have proven effective in achieving sustainability, especially when used in community or in combination. Um, Farming practices that maintain or sustain crop production. One is rotating crops and embracing diversity. Planting a variety of crops can help many benefits, including healthier soil and improved pest control. Crop diversity practices include intercropping, growing a mix of crops in the same area, and complex multi-year crop rotation. And then planting cover crops and perennials. Cover crops such as clovers, rye, or hared beech are planted during season times when soils might otherwise be left bare, while perennial crops keep soil covered and maintain living roots in the ground year round. These crops protect and build soil health by preventing erosion, replenishing soil nutrients, and keeping roots active, reducing the need for fertilizers and herbicides. And next is reducing or eliminating tillage. Traditional plowing prepares field for planting and prevents weed problems that can cause soil loss. No-till or reduced till methods, which involve inserting seeds directly into undisturbed soil, can reduce erosion and improve soil health. And applying integrated pest management, a range of methods, including mechanical and biological controls, can be applied systematically to keep pest population under control while minimizing the use of chemical pesticides. Then integrating livestock and crops. Industrial agriculture tends to keep plant and animal production separate, with animals living far from the areas where their food is produced, and crops growing far from abundant manure fertilizers. A growing body of evidence shows that a smart integration of crop and animal production can make farms more efficient and profitable, practicing both livestock and crop growing in the same piece of land. And then adopting agroforestry practices by mixing trees or shrubs into our operations. Farmers can provide shade and shelter that protects plants, animals, and water resources, while also potentially offering additional income from fruits or nut crops. And managing whole system and landscapes. Sustainable farms should uncultivated or less intensively cultivated areas as integral to the farm. For example, natural vegetation along streams or strips of prairie plants within or around crop fields can help control soil erosion, reduce nutrient runoff, and support bees and other pollinators and biodiversity in general. Next is crop protection and pest management. Crop protection is the general method or the practice of protecting crop yields from different agents, including pests, weeds, plant diseases, and other organisms that cause damage to the agricultural crops. Crop protection involves applying multiple instruments, strategies, and products to protect crops from harmful factors such as weeds and pests. Below are the different ways to protect crops. One is weed management, which are known to carry pests and diseases that can harm crops and reduce productivity. They also deprive plants of oxygen and nutrients, which can significantly reduce their productivity. Various studies show that a lack of effective protection methods contributes to the loss of 10 to 50% of harvest, which can be controlled using preventive and fighter activity. The former includes applying methods such as paratinine and correct seed treatment and storage. Preventive measures include chemical, biological, and agrotechnical. A combination of these methods can go a long way in protecting crops from harmful weeds. And next is disease management. Equally crucial in crop protection is disease management. This is a broad range of measures that farmers can adopt to save crops from diseases. Some of them include crop rotation, plant disease-resistant crops, quarantining, quarantining affected plants, and deep plowing. Through modern technology, farmers can protect their crops by analyzing temperatures, humidity, and soil conditions. As such, they can forecast any issue that might affect crops negatively. And next is insect management. Insects are known to transmit most diseases that affect crops, and therefore it is important to control them. Farmers can employ methods such as biological control, crop spotting, targeted habitat management, and rotation. Integrated pest management, which basically entails using multiple strategies, works to monitor and prevent insect damage to crops. If well used, it can help manage insects and keep crop diseases at bay. Pest management, pest control in agriculture is the deterrence or extermination of species threatening agricultural productivity. It's just the this chasing away using what or by scaring away this what species, this pest species. Farms are often businesses and depend on output so that the workers can earn money and fund their lives. Therefore, any factors affecting produce must be acted on swiftly and in a cost-effective way. Importance of pest control in agriculture. One is improving yield. Insects, birds, and small animals feeding on crops reduce the yearly output of these crops, and therefore the amount of money a farm makes. Then animal and crop health. Disease spreading insects, rodents, and parasites can cause diseases to spread between crops and livestock. Dangerous diseases can kill off animals and plants, while more minor ones will slow down growth and reduce yield. To then reduce produce contamination, the running of produce that is ready to be transported to the shops is probably the most aggravating ways pests can impact agriculture. It is e.g. disease carrying rodents like mice and rats. The long process of cultivating plants or rearing livestock is wasted if pests infest storage and transport facilities. So we need to avoid or control or manage these pests to reduce what contamination. And then also we need to control pests. We need to kill this pest or control pests in order to control and balance ecosystems. Pests with access to an abundant resources such as field of crops may increase in numbers rapidly. This can disturb the equilibrium in ecosystem. While this pest may predate or compete with other species which do not have access to the same amount of resources. So it causes imbalance in the ecosystem. Remember, in the ecosystem, we have the pests, the insects, organisms, everything, and human. We live in harmony, in balance with what? The environment as well. Living a balanced life. And then pest control methods in agriculture. There are diverse pest control methods in agriculture, from ancient and more manual ones to more modern and technological ones. The main pest control methods in agriculture can be divided into chemical, biological, and natural pest control. The chemical pest control in agriculture. Chemical use in pest control became popular in agriculture during the 18th and 19th centuries. Even though workers were not knowledgeable of the effects of the chemicals they were using, because of extensive research, more refined chemicals are used today, and farmers know the possible complications of applying them. And next is the use of insecticides. These are chemicals that specifically exterminate or deter insects. Insecticides can either be repellents or non-repellents. Repellents are applied to the plant and will give off unpleasant smells or pheromones specific to the pest species. And then in contrast, non-repellents are sprayed over a large area and directly exterminate the pests. Repellents require a regular application, which can be time consuming, while non-repellents are quickly and straightforward, but can contaminate kill, and potentially poison crops. Next is the fungicides. Fungi and fungus spores can be hazardous in agriculture. They can grow uncontrollably on crops and plant roots and release dangerous toxins and pathogens, which damage crops irreversibly. Farmers will use fungicides to counteract them, which are made up mostly of sulfur. Processing various plants like rosemary, oregano, and tea tree can be a great way of producing natural fungicides, as chemical ones can potentially poison plants and contaminate the soil. And next to the herbicides. Herbicides are chemicals which target weeds. These pesticides are notoriously very difficult to produce and apply because you are trying to kill a plant right next to the crops you want to grow. Herbicides are applied directly to plants or the soil and can inhibit photosynthesis or even the production of essential compounds by the plant. Biological pest control in agriculture. Biological pest control makes use of natural living enemies of pests. Now that government and environmentalists are knowledgeable about the devastating effects agrochemicals on soil contaminated soils can have on quality aquatic eggs. Alternative methods of controlling pests are being explored. There are three types of biological control you need to get to terms with. One is importation, augmentation, and conservation. Importation. This method involves introducing the pest's natural enemy into the agro ecosystem. Many ecological variables must be considered when implementing this method, like whether the introduced organism will survive in the ecosystem or will it cause damage to other components of the ecosystem. In this importation, you bring the pest's enemy. Yeah? Come in and feast on the pests as well, to chase them away. And then augmentation, introducing more individuals to an already established species is called augmentation. Yeah, you already have some species, probably they're not enough, and then you add more individuals to that, when you increase the number of that species. This is usually a sounder method than importation because farmers know the species is adapted to the environment. If you already have the species, you're just increasing their armor to chase away the pest. So it is a better than importation because you already know that the species can survive in that environment. However, it must be considered what effects increased numbers will have on other species in the area. And then conservation, this is the safest method for other species. If there are already potential biologically controlling agents in the ecosystem, Pests can be controlled by providing the conditions for their numbers to be maintained and potentially increasing. Here you already have the species and you try to put in all the measures to ensure you don't lose the species or to ensure you increase the number of the species so they can chase away the pests. Yeah. And then natural pest control in agriculture. Natural pest control methods, sometimes called organic methods, do not involve any use of artificial substances and do not disturb the balance of the ecosystem. The conservation method of biological control can be described as natural. This is because ecosystem equilibrium is not being affected, as the naturally occurring population is just being maintained or slightly increased rather than drastically changed. Here are some natural pest control techniques. One is companion planting. This involves planting crops that naturally defend each other. This could be one releasing this could be one releasing smells that deter pests from the other or helps disguise the plant next to it. Yeah, you don't practice companion planting. That is one of the natural methods. And then we have the organic deterrents. Many non-synthetic products comprise the chemical actually released by plants, so they will not harm the environment. Yeah. And then we have physically removing, especially in terms of weight, simply picking and remove the pest can work. So, then the importance of appropriate pest control, soil contamination, chemical pests deter pests that can poison crops and reduce soil fertility. This may result in smaller yields and stunted growth in the long term. So using the right pest control is very important. And then useful wild plants during large-scale application of chemical pesticides, some harmless wildflowers and plants can be damaged. These species often sustain biodiversity in the ecosystem and help with heterogeneity in the field. Therefore, the gene pool will become smaller and disease will spread more quickly. Yeah. Um, use of useful wild plants. Yeah, you also need to consider the type of pest control measures you're going to use. If you're going to use herbicides, remember you're going to also kill some innocent one, useful wild plants that were helping to maintain the wild ecosystem. And then disturbing the ecosystem, introducing new species to counteract pests or providing the conditions for natural enemy population to increase can negatively impact the ecosystem. These species will often have relationship with many species in the ecosystem. So increasing their numbers will disrupt the balance of this relationship. Yes. When you consider introducing enemies, oh yes, the pest enemies, it will also still what affect the ecosystem because they will go, yes, they will get to the plant, get used, relation, get relationship, reproduce, and affect the ecosystem balance. Thank you so much. That's all about today. See you tomorrow. Hi, Samuel. Hello. Hi, Samuel.